In the name of my father.
She was supposed to be the next big thing, Disney's golden girl, the talented redhead who could act, sing, and charm audiences worldwide.
Actually, this morning, he was with my in-laws and my husband, and I was doing Good Morning America.
Lindsay Lohan had it all. Blockbuster movies, chart-topping albums, magazine covers, and a future that seemed limitless. Then everything collapsed in the most spectacular, public way imaginable. DUIs, arrests, rehab stints, family drama, career suicide. Lindsay became the poster child for everything that could go wrong with fame. For years, her name was synonymous with cautionary tale. But here's what they don't tell you about Lindsay Lohan's story. While the world was busy laughing at her downfall, she was quietly fighting battles that no one understood. And while everyone wrote her off as another Hollywood tragedy, she was planning the most unexpected comeback of the 21st century. So what really happened to Lindsay Lohan? How did America's sweetheart become tabloid poison? And how did she manage to rebuild her life while the entire world was watching her fall apart? The truth is more complicated, more heartbreaking, and more inspiring than any headline ever captured. Origins and discovery. Long Island, New York, 1986. Lindsay D. Lohan was born into a family where ambition and dysfunction walked hand in hand. Her father, Michael, was a Wall Street trader with a taste for trouble. Her mother, Dina, was a former Radio City Rockette who saw her daughter's beauty as a ticket to something bigger. Before Lindsay could even walk properly, she was working. At age 3, she was signed to Ford Models, appearing in commercials and print ads. This wasn't a childhood hobby, it was a family business plan. The Lohans had found their golden ticket, and they were going to ride it as far as it would take them. The early signs of trouble were already there. Michael Lohan's volatile temper and legal problems, Dinah's stage mother intensity, the constant pressure to perform and earn money. But Lindsay was a natural performer who seemed to thrive under the spotlight, at least initially. Her breakthrough came in 1998 when Disney was casting for The Parent Trap, a remake of the classic film about twins separated at birth. The role required an 11-year-old actress capable of playing 2 distinct characters, often in the same scene. It was a demanding role that would challenge seasoned actors, let alone a child. Lindsay nailed the audition with a combination of natural talent and professional polish that shocked the casting directors. Here was a kid who could handle complex dialogue, emotional scenes, and the technical demands of playing twins. Disney had found their new star. The filming of The Parent Trap should have been a magical experience for any child actor.
I like twins.
Instead, it became Lindsay's introduction to the pressure cooker of professional entertainment. Long days, complex scenes, the weight of carrying a major studio production at age 11. But Lindsay handled it with grace that impressed everyone on set. Director Nancy Meyers later said she'd never worked with a more professional young actor. The dual role that could have been a gimmick became a showcase for genuine talent. When The Parent Trap was released, Lindsay became an instant sensation. Critics praised her performance, audiences fell in love with her charm, and Disney knew they had discovered their next big thing. The film grossed over $92 million worldwide, proving that Lindsay could carry a major motion picture. The success meant opportunities, but it also meant expectations. Disney had plans for their new star, and those plans didn't include much time for being a normal kid. Lindsay Lohan was about to learn that being Disney's golden girl came with a price that no 11-year-old should have to pay. Peak fame and the descent. By 2004, Lindsay had transformed from child actress to teenage icon with Mean Girls, a cultural phenomenon that defined a generation. Written by Tina Fey and featuring Lindsay as Katie Heron.
Life.
Why don't I know you? I'm new. I just moved here from Africa. What? So you're from Africa?
The film wasn't just a hit, it was a masterpiece that elevated everyone involved. Lindsay's performance was revelatory. She brought depth and authenticity to what could have been a typical teen comedy role. Her ability to navigate the film's sharp dialogue and complex character development proved she was a serious actress, not just a Disney product. The film grossed over $130 million worldwide and became an instant classic. The success of Mean Girls launched Lindsay into the stratosphere of young Hollywood. Magazine covers, award nominations, fashion spreads, she was everywhere. Her music career took off with Speak, an album that went platinum and spawned hit singles like Rumors. She was proving that Disney stars could successfully transition to more mature content. But success in Hollywood comes with invisible pressures that no teenager is equipped to handle. Lindsay was suddenly worth millions to studios, record labels, and endorsement deals. Every decision she made affected multiple business interests. The pressure to maintain her image, her success, her profitability was relentless. The party scene was inevitable. This was mid-2000s Hollywood, where young celebrities were expected to be seen at the right clubs, with the right people, living the glamorous life that magazines wanted to photograph. Lindsay, barely 18, was thrust into a world of adult temptations with teenage judgment. The paparazzi attention was unlike anything previous generations of child stars had experienced. Digital cameras and internet gossip sites meant that every stumble, every bad outfit, every unflattering moment was captured and broadcast globally within hours. Lindsay couldn't leave her house without being photographed, analyzed, judged. Her parents' marriage was disintegrating publicly, with Michael and Dinah Lohan using their daughter's fame as ammunition in their personal war. Court documents, restraining orders, public accusations, Lindsay's family drama became tabloid entertainment. She was trying to navigate young adulthood while her parents exploited her success for their own publicity. The first DUI came in 2007, followed quickly by a second. What should have been private struggles with alcohol became public spectacles. Court appearances were red carpet events. Jail time became headline news. Lindsay wasn't just battling addiction, she was battling it under the brightest spotlight imaginable. Studios began dropping her from projects. Insurance companies refused to cover films starring her. Directors who'd once fought to work with her stopped returning calls. By 2008, Lindsay Lohan had become what Hollywood feared most: uninsurable, unreliable, a liability. The media coverage shifted from fascination to cruelty. Late-night talk show monologues, internet memes, constant speculation about her next breakdown. Lindsay had become entertainment in the worst possible way. The talented actress who'd charmed audiences in Mean Girls was now famous primarily for being infamous. But the worst part wasn't the professional destruction. It was watching her parents continue to exploit her struggles for their own gain, giving interviews about her problems, appearing on reality shows to discuss her addiction, turning their daughter's pain into their own profit. Lindsay was trapped in a cycle where her attempts to get better became more content for the media machine that was destroying her. Rock bottom and reinvention. By 2010, Lindsay Lohan had become a cautionary tale that parents used to warn their children about the dangers of fame. Multiple arrests, court-mandated rehab stints, and a jail sentence had transformed her from America's sweetheart into its most visible failure. The numbers tell the story of her fall. From commanding millions per film, she was now struggling to get hired for small, independent projects. Her legal fees had consumed most of her earnings. The IRS was pursuing her for unpaid taxes. The girl who'd made Disney millions was now fighting to keep her apartment. The 2013 reality show, Lindsay, on Oprah Winfrey's OWN network, was supposed to be her redemption story. Instead, it became another public display of her struggles. Cameras captured her missing appointments, arriving late to meetings, the daily battle of someone trying to rebuild while still battling demons. But something was shifting beneath the surface chaos. Lindsay was beginning to understand that staying in Los Angeles meant staying trapped in a cycle of media attention and toxic relationships. The paparazzi, the enabling friends, the constant temptation, everything that had contributed to her downfall was still there, waiting. In 2014, she made a decision that shocked Hollywood. She moved to London, then later to Dubai, essentially exiling herself from the entertainment capital of the world. Critics called it career suicide, but Lindsay was playing a longer game than anyone realized. The years in Europe and the Middle East were quiet by design. She opened a beach club in Mykonos, invested in nightlife ventures, built a life away from American tabloids. There were still struggles, still setbacks, but they weren't happening under the microscope of American celebrity culture. The sobriety journey was private, gradual, and genuine. Without cameras documenting every meeting and every relapse, Lindsay could focus on actual healing rather than performing recovery for public consumption. She was learning who she was when she wasn't Lindsay Lohan the celebrity, when she was just Lindsay the person. Business ventures gave her purpose beyond entertainment. The beach club wasn't just a celebrity vanity project. It was a legitimate business that required her attention, focus, and responsibility. For the first time in years, Lindsay was building something instead of just surviving something. Her personal life stabilized in ways that had seemed impossible during her Hollywood years. Meeting Bader Shamus, a financier based in Dubai, gave her a relationship built on genuine connection rather than mutual fame or enabling behavior. Their 2022 marriage was a private affair, deliberately kept away from media circus. But the real transformation was internal. Lindsay began speaking honestly about her struggles without exploiting them for sympathy or publicity. She acknowledged her mistakes without wallowing in them. She took responsibility for her actions while also recognizing the unique pressures that had contributed to her downfall. When Netflix offered her the lead role in Falling for Christmas in 2022, it wasn't charity casting or nostalgia marketing. Lindsay had quietly proven she was ready to work again, professionally and personally stable enough to carry a major production. The film's success wasn't just a comeback, it was validation. Lindsay Lohan could still act, could still connect with audiences, could still be the performer she'd always been underneath the chaos. But now she was doing it on her terms, with boundaries and support systems that protected rather than exploited her. She had learned the hardest lesson in Hollywood. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find out what's actually worth keeping. So what really happened to Lindsay Lohan? She discovered that sometimes the only way to save yourself is to disappear completely and rebuild from scratch. The truth is, Lindsay's story was never really about addiction or legal troubles or family dysfunction, though all of those played their parts. It was about a system that discovered a talented child, monetized every aspect of her existence, and then discarded her when the pressure it created became too much to bear. Lindsay's real crime wasn't the DUIs or the missed court dates or the erratic behavior. It was growing up in public while everyone with a financial stake in her success ignored the warning signs. She was a human being treated like a product, and when that product started malfunctioning, the response wasn't compassion, it was disposal. But here's what makes her story ultimately triumphant. She refused to stay discarded. While the entertainment industry moved on to exploit the next young talent, Lindsay quietly did the work of becoming a whole person. She learned that fame without stability is just a longer fall, and success without self-knowledge is just delayed failure. The marriage to Bader Shamus, the successful Netflix film, the measured return to selective projects, these aren't comeback victories. They're evidence of a woman who figured out how to live sustainably in an unsustainable industry. Today, Lindsay Lohan represents something rare in Hollywood: genuine redemption. Not the manufactured kind that publicists sell, but the real transformation that comes from hitting bottom and choosing to climb back up rather than stay there. Lindsay Lohan didn't just come back from rock bottom. She proved that rock bottom can be a foundation if you're willing to build something real on top of it. If you enjoyed discovering the real story behind Lindsay Lohan's fall and rise, hit that subscribe button for more untold tales of redemption and resilience. I'll see you in the next one.